This morning, federal government strategic development plan repositions Nigeria. State government maps out strategies for effective delivery of legal services this year. University of Uyo hosts Nigerian Universities Research and Development Fair. These and more in a moment. Very good morning to you today. You're welcome to AKBC 45 News. I am Meflin Mbong. President Goodluck Jonathan has called his administration high, saying its strict adherence to a strategic development plan for Nigeria has successfully repositioned the country. President Jonathan made the assessment while addressing party faithful at the flag of the People's Democratic Party presidential campaigns. Cornel Afrati reports.
The president, who was officially presented as a PDP presidential candidate for the 2015 elections, said with a strategic plan set by him, all facets of the economy have been touched with successes, while new grounds have also been created. He listed the successes recorded to include equipping the armed forces to standard with anti-corruption fighting agencies established, contrary to its negligence, which previous administrations in the country had settled for, stopping of corruption, especially in fertilizer distributions, as he had introduced fertilizer wallet, which enables farmers take delivery of fertilizers directly from the fertilizer plants and warehouses, and the elimination of fuel hoarding, which was a major threat to the nation's economy. President Jonathan, who likened Nigeria to an industry which can only succeed with good management, said he has successfully placed Nigeria on top as the biggest economy in Africa, adding that much was expected as the dividends of support enjoyed by the private sector will start flowing in.
I served in Bayelsa State as a deputy governor for 8 years. I also served as a vice president for another 4 years at the center. From all this period, the fertilizer area is area where federal government and state government spend billions of naira, but less than that, 10% of that fertilizer go to the farmers. The rest is stolen, sent out of this country. Even that 10%, sometimes it's adulterated. We came and we cleaned up, no corruption in the fertilizer industry again.
Initiative of honor occupation housing programs, which is addressing housing needs across the country, provision of jobs through the private sector, and the establishment of UWIN project, which has empowered a large number of youths in the country.
I build universities for you, I build secondary schools for you, I build primary schools for you. They say we have no plans in this country, but we introduce what we call sovereign wealth fund. Other countries have it. That is the money that comes into the country. You reserve a little, so you don't just squander it. And that's the decision we are taking even before we start spending the money. Can somebody who has no plan for the future of this country do that thing?
The president said that 2015 is about the youth, as they have the chance in elections to read Nigeria into a crowd that, with the youths in mind, he has new universities in all states of the Federation. He said his administration is preparing intelligent Nigerians who graduate with class honors to drive the country in the future by on specializations in 25 selected national universities.
I'm addressing the age of between 23 to 18 to 23, so those of you who are voting for the first time. We believe that you people will take us to the moon. My generation have failed. We couldn't take Nigeria to the moon. Look at what India is doing. Look at what countries that we are doing now at independence. And I say, for us to get to the moon, that's a special area. And you need to expose your best brains. And I came up with a special scholarship that you first of all must make a first class in your university. We have scholarship for everybody, but for that one, you first of all make a first class from your university. Then we test and take the first class of the first class. and send them to the best 25 universities in the world.
On the 25th, President Jonathan to ensure that voters' cards were distributed to their rightful owners to enable them exercise their franchise.
Elected that every Nigerian, I'm not saying 99.9% of Nigerians, every Nigerian must vote. And INEC must make sure, and government will not allow a situation where some Nigerians will not vote. We will not allow it. All Nigerians must vote, and I mean it.
Colonel Adam Ifreti reporting.
The state government has mapped out strategies to enhance a more effective delivery of legal services to the government and people of the state. Governor Godswill Akpabio, while presenting the 2015 budgets to the State House of Assembly, said henceforth all criminal and civil matters will receive prompt attention of the judiciary and other related stakeholders.
According to the governor, 2 area offices of the Center for Alternative Dispute Resolution (CADR) will be established in Ikorekpene and Eket senatorial districts to reduce workload on Uyo area office. He said the revised edition of the laws of Akwa Ibom State will be made available to all law courts and officers as well as Akwa Ibom people. Law libraries in the state, the governor said, will be provided with modern law books, journals and furniture to encourage law officers to update their knowledge. In the effort of the state government to boost the morale of judiciary staff, a high court complex to accommodate high courts, magistrate courts, administrative block, health center and recreational grounds will be constructed in Uyo. Similarly, high court buildings will be built across the state as well as customary court of appeal complex to promote quick judgment even at the grassroots. On security, the governor pledged to maintain the enviable position Akwa Ibom occupies as a safe state in the Niger Delta region. He said this was the only way the much needed investors with the multiplier effect of employment of the people can be encouraged and sustained.
In the agricultural sector, we are budgeting about 5.8 billion because we'll continue with the integrated farmer scheme, we'll continue with Fadama 3 program, we'll also continue with the rice project, we'll continue with the wider project, we'll continue with the community plantation development scheme and the rural community funds development scheme, among other programs of the Ministry of Agriculture.
2 local organizing committees for the hosting of the 6th edition of the Nigerian Universities Research and Development Fair NURISTEF and 2013-2014 Nigerian Universities Doctoral Thesis Award Scheme (NOTAS) have been inaugurated in the University of Uyo. NURISTEF is a biannual activity organized to showcase research and development in Nigerian universities as well as give host institutions the opportunity to benefit from the fair. The inauguration, which was performed by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, Professor Comfort Ekpo, at the Multipurpose Hall main campus, comprised people from the university and the National Universities Commission (NUC). Professor Comfort Ekpo expressed delight for the hosting rights given them, promising to make judicious use of the opportunity, and hinted that the event is slated for March 2015.
When I had discussed with the members of the 2 committees, I did mention to them that I jumped at some friend at NUC, and because it was a good program, I couldn't say no because I know the effect on the community, effect of the university. So I had accepted on your behalf.
The coordinator and vice chairman of the organizing committee from NUC, Malam Farouk, promised to support the University of Uyo to ensure the success of the 2 events. Members of the committee from the NUC are Dr. S. Ramon Yusuf, chairman, Malam L. Farouk, coordinator vice chairman, Dr. D. Bashir, secretary, while I. Isa and Ms. O. Ahuchagu are members. Members from the University of Uyo NURSDEP include Professor Paul Ekwere, Chairman, Mrs. Imabon Odom, Secretary, Professor Ini Uko, Professor Mbo, Professor Joe Essien, Dr. Imo Emei, and Dr. Ime Ebenso. Others are Dr. Netia Efi, Mrs. Edu Inam, Dr. Imabon Akwan, Engineer Peter Omana, Engineer Mfon Okotang, and retired Lieutenant Colonel Nkanga FF. Committee members for the Nigerian University's Doctoral Thesis Awards came are Professor Joseph Obinako, Chairman, Dr. Udwak Abia, Secretary, while Professor A.P. Udo, Professor Imelda Udo, Dr. Akindele Alonge will serve as members. Ahead of the 2015 general elections, former Secretary General of the United Nations, UN, Mr. Kofi Annan, is scheduled to arrive in Nigeria on Tuesday next week for a roundtable with over 60 civil society organizations in the country. According to a statement released by an official of the United Nations, Agangwe Ashang, the former UN strongman will shed light on how to promote integrity in the electoral process. Meanwhile, the chairman of Independent National Electoral Committee, INEC, Professor Tahiru Jega, has noted that the usage of arms and violence during election means stealing the collective mandate of the people. Jega, who was represented by the state's resident electoral commissioner, REC, Mr. Osuno Koje, made the assertion during a two-day stakeholder sensitization forum on proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria held in Uyo. He stressed that the election conducted under insecure atmosphere cannot reflect the will of the people. Still on to AKBC News. The news continues after the break.
Udom Gabriel Emmanuel is elected as the flag bearer of PDP for the gubernatorial election come 2015.
By the grace of the Almighty God, I hereby give you the flag of the PDP, Udom Emmanuel, to fly this in Akwa Ibom State to come back as the governor under PDP, our flag. Thank you, may God bless you and give you good success.
Udom is right and fair. For Udom is the best. For Akwa Ibom said, Udom is right and fair. Behold our next governor.
Welcome back. The state chapter of the National Council of Women's Societies, NCWS, has donated foodstuff, toiletries, and clothing to orphanages, prison inmates, and the aged in the three senatorial districts of the state. The president of the state chapter, Mrs. Mayana Nkwo, who led other members on the donation, explained that the gesture was their way of showing love to the less privileged, as well as complimenting the good works of the governor's wife, Mrs. Ekarte Onoma Fabio. Mrs. Nkwo appreciated Mrs. Onoma Fabio for always showing love to the needy in the society, praying God to replicate her in subsequent administrations in the state. The NCWS president also hailed Governor Fabio for accommodating women in his cabinet to prove their worth. She used the occasion to encourage women in the state to turn up and march to vote in what she described as credible candidates who will place the welfare of the citizenry above self-interest.
With the spirit of the season, we are here to share with you, to share the love of our Lord Jesus Christ, to come and tell you that we love you, and we love you so much. We love the children.
Responding, the Reverend Sister in charge of Holy Family Sisters of the Needy Orphanage Home, Ikbe Ikot in a local government area, Reverend Sister Judith Okoro expressed appreciation to the NCWS for their love for the children. She also thanked the governor's wife, Mrs. Unoma Akpabi, for always visiting the giving and giving them support to the home.
You are the mother to this house. You are our mother. So we say thank you. May Almighty God bless you with more and strengthen you to full and reward you for Amen. And really Amen.
In the meantime, the state chapter of NCWS has organized a solemn assembly where Bishop Emily Samuel thanked God for his benevolence in them in 2014. Assembly had as its theme, "If it had not been the Lord." The gathering also danced to God's glory for seeing them through the previous year. The Oba of Lagos, Reuben Akiolu, has said that President Goodluck Jonathan should not be blamed for the country's problems. Oba Akiolu, who spoke while receiving the president at his Iga Idongaran Palace, said fighting corruption was the responsibility of every Nigerian. According to the monarch, God will give the best person the opportunity to lead the country. Oba Akiolu urged INEC to ensure the distribution of voters' cards, saying that Lagos had more than 6 million eligible voters. He also urged the security agents not to be unfairly used against any citizen during the general elections. Oba Akiolu said he was confident that Nigeria will be more united after the elections. A state director of sports, Mr. Aniedi Dixon, says 2014 was a blessing to sports development in the state. He enumerated the blessing in the sector to include the inauguration of the Akwa Ibom International Stadium, renovation of Ikot Stadium, and the distribution of coaster buses to some of the state football clubs, which he described as a boost to sports development. Mr. Dixon noted what happened is the record-breaking of the state's female para-athletes, Uduak Uwak, who won 2 gold medals in the last year Athletics Championship in Lagos. Sports director also commended the relentless efforts of the state's coaches and called on them to be in readiness as campaign for the elimination of team sports is expected to commence next month as the National Sports Festival draws near. Mr. Dixon thanked the state governor, Chief Godswill Akpabio, the Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Sam Mondelko, and all sports stakeholders in the state. Arrangements have been concluded by the families of the late Chief Evans Ekbo of Ikot Umiang Ede Etinan and late Chief Inyang Ida of Ikot Mbong Ona to bury their wife and daughter, the late Madam Helen Itoro Evans, today, January 10, 2015. A funeral program made available to AKBC News jointly endorsed by her husband, Reverend Itoro Evans, and Obong Sylvanus Evans, Akiko, explains that Christian Methodist Episcopal Church will conduct proceedings by 10 o'clock this morning. A vigil took place last night at the family compound in Ikodumiang Ede, Etinan, local government area. You can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging onto akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45EU or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. That has been our package and the news, but before we go, another look at the major highlights. Federal government's strategic development plans have repositioned Nigeria. The state government has mapped out strategies for effective delivery of legal services to the people. We also brought you a story on University of Uyo has inaugurated 2 communities to host the 6th edition of the Nigerian University's Research and Development Fair. That's our package. And thank you for staying with us. I am Methlin Mbong.
It's up to us, all of us. The safety of our communities is in our hands. The police need our help and support. Boko Haram threatens our lives, our future, our country. But Nigeria belongs to us. God has blessed us with this rich land. Let us protect her as we protect each other. Report any criminal activity. Call these numbers. Your call is anonymous, and it is vitally important. Your support so far has been critical. Continuing it will make all the difference between a Nigeria of the fearful and a Nigeria of the free. Protect each other, for we are not terrorists. We are Nigerians. A message from the State Security Service.
Hello twins, friends and parents of twins. The Twins Festival to mark the Memorial Centenary celebration of Mary Slessor holds on Tuesday 13 January